This is episode 170.
The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Need a show about outdoor living? This is where it's at. With your hosts, Shane Chapman and Way Laurent. Thank you for tuning in. Now let the show begin. Yeah. The Ultimate Deck Podcast. Let's go.
What up, everybody? Episode 170. It just dawned on me how close we're getting to 200, actually. It feels like not that long ago that we got to 100. And now we're at 200.
Yeah.
Just about. Right? Speaking of Wade's in the house today.
I'm back.
He's back. We don't even have to fake him in
My
anymore.
own effects now. Yeah, that was good. You were always in the podcast a little bit here and there.
Yeah. Yep.
With that.
With the
Yeah.
you were always in.
Almost once an episode.
Here in
Hence-
spirit.
Hence why we didn't have to redo the intro. We need to be
Ever.
back. What's going on, boys? What you been up to lately? Wait, I didn't even know you were going to be in town today. I showed up to work today and he's like hiding behind the computer desk. And I was like, whoa, I didn't realize you were going to be here. But
Threw us off guard.
Friday, I guess.
I had to get my truck fixed.
So
What's
you
wrong with your truck?
drove to Regina? You drove 2 hours to get
I'm
your
sure
truck
there's
fixed?
probably a Ford dealership in Saskatoon.
Likely is, but when I first got the truck diagnosed, it happened in Regina. And so then they were
COVID?
like, can we order the parts? And I was like, yeah, let's order the parts. So,
Truck was sounding a little wheezy.
couldn't get enough air. On the trailer connection, there's like something's wrong on the trailer connection because I would be driving along and all of a sudden it would be like, you have a trailer connected. No, you don't. Yeah, you do. No, you don't.
When
Yeah,
you
do.
didn't have one,
Didn't have it
be a little bit
connected.
nerve-wracking if
Yeah.
you did have
right?
one and it was doing that, hey?
So it did that as well. And then when you were hooked up, it was like, trailer's not connected. Yeah, it's connected. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. And so I was like, something's off. This needs fixed.
Yeah.
And then the four-wheel drive was not operating perfectly. So I had a visit with the shop foreman this morning. So apparently the four-wheel drive is all operates on vacuum base connections. And so when it gets super cold, the vacuums don't work as well. And that's why. And I was like, I don't believe that. It wasn't working perfectly before either. So he was
In
like,
the
well,
summer.
we'll take it all apart and have a look at it. But
I can't tell if the reason your truck has so many troubles is because it's a Ford or because you ran up miles on it fast.
Sounds
I
like
like-
a user issue.
I just
Things
about
in the
have
shop constantly. It's only a year and a half old.
Yep.
it's only like I've only been in there twice in the shop
How many times
Come
How
on.
many times have you put diesel in it?
every day.
All the time.
Except for-
once.
One time. One time I put gas in it. So that was in the shop for that.
Never going to leave that one
I
down.
don't think that's a Ford issue.
No, I don't.
That's
think
right. Your
so.
other issue you actually fixed in-house. Dusty saved you $1,500 and fixed that one in the shop.
Like, that's why people don't trust dealerships,
Yep. 100%.
right?
100%.
It was like some little valve was stuck, and so Dustin undid some screws and like cleared off a little bit of debris, put it back together. It took Dustin maybe 15 minutes to get an actuator to operate, open and close properly so that hot air would start to travel back into the cab. And when I took it to the dealership, they were like, oh yeah, we have to take your whole dash off. That's a $1,600 repair. And Dustin was like, no, it's the actuator is here under the passenger seat or something. I was like, oh boy.
$16.
boy.
So then he asked
Not
for
even.
$1,400.
Yeah.
No.
You're like, well, it's a good deal.
I'll buy you lunch.
Yeah.
How's that?
Anyways, that's it. I'm in town just getting a little couple of things done in the truck. Oil change, cabin filter, and, these things that you don't do to your truck. Original oil in that baby, right?
Yeah. It's not that my truck hasn't needed to be in the shop a few times. It
Right. Just
You don't take it.
never
I know.
never gets there.
Later.
Saves a lot of money.
No, it does not.
Yeah, anyway, enough about truck talk. Did anybody take in frost?
No.
Is there a conversation to be had about frost?
We
Regina, the winter city, trying
I
to
have
give
not.
you things
I
to
didn't
do.
do
it would be
anything.
amazing. If
We're
I
going to
would
go
have
tonight.
if I would have been in Regina all week, I would have gone.
Yeah.
Is it on this weekend?
It is.
Yeah, it's on till Monday.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
like that, yeah.
Then I'm going to make that happen.
Yeah.
You betcha.
Should be good. Anyway, you guys, Wade wrote an article.
Oh,
Which is shocking to some. A lot of people probably didn't know he could write.
I was forced into it.
But you wrote an article, and we're going to talk about it today. Hit it!
Oh no. I turned the volume down and I was ready to go.
Hit it again.
Hit it! How after 170 episodes do we still have
Technical issues?
errors like
error.
that? It's like,
Does anybody want to talk about where we're not today?
Where we're not?
not at IBS.
Not at IBS.
Right. Yeah. We're not there.
No. Or maybe we are.
Who can
We're
tell?
not.
I mean,
We're
it
not.
looks like we're summer fancy if you're watching the Instagram live.
That's right.
So anyway, Wade, you wrote an article about what contractors could do in their off season.
I'm just going to read it, okay?
Yeah, just read it, and then Bryce, you hit the button with the volume up when he's done.
Yeah,
To
okay.
send us out, and we'll be all over it out of here. But no, 5 things that contractors can spend their off season doing if
5
they're not building all year.
5 ways to use your off season.
Sure.
Because we live in Saskatchewan and it's cold.
Yeah, I think this applies to anybody north of what? The 48th parallel?
Yeah, something like that.
Where is that one?
I don't know. It's a little bit into the States a bit. You know? Like
All
I
right,
think Minnesota's included in that.
Yeah.
Like in Texas, you probably don't have an off season.
Oh, probably not.
Maybe you do in July and August.
Maybe.
Is it cold in July and August in Texas?
No, it's too hot,
Really,
Oh, it's
really
too hot.
right?
It was really hot.
Like I wouldn't want to work at 120 Fahrenheit
Yeah,
or Celsius.
I'd want to drink beer. Much like I do in the cold.
Celsius for sure, not Celsius. I don't want to work in that.
It'd be like nearly boiling.
Yeah. All out boiling and then some.
You would be boiling. Yep.
I know. All right. I said you should get your books done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
That's mine. Do you want to elaborate on that, or do you want me to give you?
Do
like
you
a
want to
little-
elaborate on that?
Well, I already did. It's in the article. I elaborated on once.
Okay, well, go to tuds.ca/deckblog.
Basically,
That's right. Read it there.
Deck blog.
Don't listen here anymore,
I could
apparently.
read it to you, or you could read at your own speed. Basically, the idea behind this is that we're contractors. We're deck builders,
Yep.
and we're good at doing that. But we're awful at doing our books.
Who's we?
You know, the people that build decks.
I'm
Anybody-
pretty sure there's only one actual deck builder in this room.
Anybody with 9
I would
fingers.
say there's 0.
Weird.
0 now.
One former.
Former deck builder.
I built some decks.
Wade did some decks.
Does that make you a deck builder?
Absolutely.
Then I'm a deck builder.
Have you built one?
I have built a deck.
Then you're probably one of the most skilled in this room.
Get your goddamn books right, Bryce. Now's the time.
So, anyways, it was in my head. I was thinking about my life as a contractor and then applying this to contractors in general.
Yeah.
So, good at contracting, bad at doing books.
Right.
That's not what we're good at,
Right.
and we don't enjoy it.
It's shitty.
It's the worst.
Nobody likes numbers.
I hated it.
I know.
I actually like the guy I had doing my books, like doing my taxes back then. Really nice guy. I hated him.
Right?
Like there's nothing wrong with him.
I fired my first accountant
It's just that I knew
Why?
going to him that
because he
I
asked
would be
me for too much stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It
They're
wasn't his
needy.
fault. I paid him to tell me the things that he needed, and then I fired him. I was like, I can't work with this.
You don't need that.
Yeah. It's yeah. So maybe that should be like number 1B is like find a bookkeeper and quit trying to do your books yourself.
And so that was kind of it, right? It was like, just give up the things you're not good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
It's just
happens
that
later.
in the middle of a busy summer, like some guys have their stuff together and they're running like a really well-run business, and I'm sure and they might even have a bookkeeper on hand that does this throughout the year. But for I think the majority of contractors, the summer is crazy. You're making hay while the sun shines, and at the end of it all, you're like you've got a shoebox full of receipts somewhere, and it's like, okay, now it's cleanup time. That's likely how most of them are operating.
Right.
So when things slow down, time to dig out the box,
Yeah.
get through the receipts.
So it's important to finish up your books. This will help your accountant give you some advice on how to spend your money. Maybe you don't have any money left because you actually owe it all to taxes.
Uh-oh.
Right. Well, but like, wouldn't you want to know that in the winter before you started your next season so that you could change your rates to be like, well, it turns out I didn't actually make any money. All I did was pay taxes.
Spend it all.
Good to have that done before you get into the next season, so you can adjust for sure.
This is us speaking from experience, right? How do you
Who
feel
could
about
possibly run a business that way? French Outdoors says, I lost my first accountant because he went to federal prison for tax evasion.
No way.
That's a really good account to have.
No way.
No, it's not a really good one.
As long as he doesn't take you down with him.
Yeah, but he was trying though.
Yeah, he could cook the books.
He saved every dollar he could for you.
Right. So you want to find out whether you have some money left aside or whether you're going to be paying taxes. If you have money left aside, maybe you get yourself some new tools or a truck or a new trailer. But you're not going to know that until you have your books done.
That's a lot of spending you just did right there.
Yep.
Just all of a sudden.
Well, sometimes what happens is your accountant will actually come to you and say, you owe this much.
Yeah, might as well spend it. Pay tax on it.
Right. All you're going to do is pay tax on that. You get 14 grand in taxes, or go buy yourself a new trailer and then cut that down. Okay. Sounds good. No problem. I'll get a new trailer. I've been looking at this one all year anyways.
I actually already bought one. I wasn't going to tell you. I bought one in July. It's really nice.
Yeah.
It's got a kitchenette in it and everything. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, anyways, I knew I was making money, so I bought a trailer. I didn't know you were making money.
I was scared to tell you. Here's that receipt. $18,000.
Yeah,
well, it had a kitchen. So.
Okay, so number one. Get your books done. Number two, fix up the tools.
Yeah.
They're your livelihood.
Right.
Right?
How often did you fix up your tools in the off season? I'm just curious.
He has a truck that has its original oil in it.
Have you
How often do you think he fixed it?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So you would just
that original oil is still working.
You just ride it until the wheels fell off? Is that kind of all the tools?
My vehicle, the tool?
Yeah, the tools.
Tools, I don't even remember. Like the tools I had were actually remarkably reliable outside of my DeWalt framing nailers, which came up today. They've been broken for 5 years because I haven't needed them, so I didn't fix them. But we're like, we should get those fixed up and start using them again. I feel like I'm more of like if the drill stops working, the drill goes in the garbage and I buy a new one.
Right. In today's disposable world, people usually buy new things.
Right.
Unbelievable.
Is it?
Yeah, well, because there's like
time is money.
Usually quite a bit less. Yeah, but you don't do anything in the winter. This is what you do in your off season.
You have all of your books.
I'm busy getting my books together.
No, you're not. You hauled your shoebox in and handed it to the guy.
Yeah, I got in trouble, so I'm sulking now. I'm playing lots of Xbox.
Give him that toolbox. Give him that little shoebox in November.
It's called seasonal depression, Wade. Back off.
Yeah, does exist. So just a couple examples, like take your table saw apart, just grease it, clean it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. You know,
it is a good time to kind of fix things up, replace your extension cords if you need to.
Yeah,
take your tools apart, clean them up, grease them up, oil them up, whatever they need.
So I always used to use the Christmas break.
Restock your bits and shit.
That's when I did that. Was all over the Christmas break. Right. So things are on sale Boxing Day, so you can.
Oh yeah.
Right. You can load up some tools on that time.
Yeah. Big Boxing Day sales on brushes for your drills.
No, the bits you said.
Yeah, that too.
That too.
You go to Canadian Tire and just load up in Canadian Tire stuff, right? You get yourself a ratchet set, $400 ratchet set on for $69.99.
Our friends in the US they wouldn't know what a Canadian Tire is. It's fantastic. Canadian Tire is really good.
Is there an American
American Tire?
Yeah, it's called Walmart.
Walmart.
Well, really?
A Canadian Tire is like
Walmart
meets Home Depot, kind of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like not good at either of those things.
Yeah, it's not really good at anything.
It's like they had a baby, and that's what Canadian Tire is. But the funny part of Canadian Tire is that like the sales are never really sales.
No.
Like, Boxing Day sale. Sweet. These drills are 80% off. Yeah. They're not worth $500 to begin with. They're the house brand.
Right.
And being on sale for $199 is probably where they should be. It's maybe even a touch high still.
Because they put the price up the week before.
Right.
Or so no one would buy them.
Yeah.
And so it was like get your saw blades sharpened.
Probably not getting a Canadian Tire sponsorship.
Sharpen up
on this podcast.
Yeah, it's okay.
And then the advantage to having your books done was you'll know whether you have to sharpen your chisels or you can buy new ones.
So that's another thing. Did you ever sharpen your saw blades?
Yes.
Do you ever get them sharpened, or do you just buy new ones?
Yeah, no, I always sharpen my blades.
A tale of two stories. Yeah, no, I've never sharpened. You've never in my life, bro. They were like,
but you didn't buy the same saw blades I bought.
No, probably not. Like I would, like I'm blown. We were framing shit.
Right.
Like I would go to Lowe's and buy the 3-pack of DeWalt 12-inch blades for $40. Like it's hardly worth going and sharpening a blade when they cost you $15 a piece.
Okay.
Right.
Wade?
Well, they cost only $7 to sharpen. So.
Oh, okay.
Plus the trip. I was already at Lowe's.
Anyways, my saw blades, like I had some saw blades that were $120 a saw.
Holy shit.
Yeah, if I was spending that on them,
was different.
then sure. Because like that's what I'd throw in my miter saw. In my skill saws, I would throw like some Diablo blades. You get a 2-pack for $14. It just
So I
wasn't worth the effort. I wasn't buying
Throw 'em out.
expensive blades.
built a box, and when I took my saw blades in to get sharpened, I did it once a year, and I would have like 30 or 40 saw blades that would go in. And
In the
that
off
would be-
season.
Right.
In the offseason.
They would do that in November or December, and then I would just have it for the whole year. It would like one in, one out,
Pop,
one
pop,
in.
pop,
right.
pop.
And then at the end of the year, all so
When
at
mine
one
got
point,
dull, I
was-
threw them like throwing stars
Yeah.
in the back of the customer's shed where they couldn't stuck it.
Review your process. So
Hey, hold on. First
okay.
of all, Carly says that Canadian Tire is the only store with its own currency. This is true. I don't know.
I don't think that's true.
Paper currency though. That might
It
be
does
pretty
have
close.
a
to
paper
true.
currency, but
7-Eleven has $7-11 or used to. And USMC says Menards in the Midwest is similar
Menards.
Sure, that would be fine.
to Canadian Tire.
Menards, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think you could buy Tupperware and frying pans at Menards.
But Menards is like
Oh, they
like
have toilet
full
paper
out.
there.
They're way closer to. They're like a
They're like sporting good.
full lumber yard and everything too.
Oh,
though.
Menards.
But the Canadian Tire doesn't have lumber and shit. It doesn't have much for building. It doesn't have building materials at all. It's got tools.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, I don't think
Menards
you can
is
buy
like-
vinyl plank flooring there, can you?
Menards is like Home Depot, but they do have more like food.
So Menards is like a lumber yard that tries to be Walmart.
Yeah.
Canadian Tire is like an auto shop that tries to be Walmart.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right?
They sell oil and all of the air filters you need to fix up your car,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then the tools,
And then the tools.
whether it's woodworking or automotive. And then they have Tupperware,
Kitchen appliances,
kitchen
kids'
appliances,
toys.
And they're also
Christmas
always
decorations?
next to old folks' homes.
toilet paper.
That's smart.
It's true though, right?
Is it?
The one in the south end is like suspiciously
That's
close
not an
to
old
a lot.
folks' home. That's a mall.
No,
they
there's a
used to be popular.
Yeah, mall walkers, bro.
The East End one really is right beside
Yeah, it's within walking distance.
community living.
Community living.
Okay, review your process. So the idea behind this is we all have a job that was bad at some point. Were there more comments? You want to do more comments?
What do you mean we all have a job that we're bad?
Went bad. Like you had a
Comments
job
from
during
here,
the year that was like
Oh,
either
okay.
lost
Like
money
a project
on
that
or-
went. Yeah, okay, I gotcha.
one job you had to like
I thought you meant like a career
no,
or
no.
something.
Well, there's that.
Like
too.
you lost your career.
I'm in the middle of it. No, it's
So
like-
find a new job in the off season.
yeah. So, anyways, there's like that went wrong, and so then just dig into that. Why did that go wrong? What happened?
Yep.
Where did it fall apart? What part of your job did you do wrong that made that job go wrong?
So are you suggesting like this is kind of like all your processes, like
Yeah.
from like how you show up on site with your crew and do the physical work, your sales process, like any process.
Yeah, and I
related thing.
think that like you can review your entire process, but I think probably the easiest is like let's pick one where it's pretty obvious that something went wrong. Was there a job you lost money on? Or was there a customer that like yelled at you and kicked you off site?
Right.
Okay. We'll start there.
Yeah.
That's probably the easiest one to like dig into.
Yeah.
What happened? And be honest with yourself. Be like, well, I was a pretty terrible contractor.
Right.
Didn't deliver them the quote on time.
threw a saw blade in his shed. I should probably stop doing that.
New plan with the saw blades will sharpen them rather than stick them in sheds.
They'd
Put them
probably
in a
stick in the
box and
shed
sharpen
better
them.
if they're sharper anyway.
Exactly.
We should throw them before we use them.
Just a few times though.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Put that back in the saw.
Yeah. And so that was it. I think that was basically just review the process, find out what went wrong, and then look for ways that you can change.
What do you think are the most common like mistakes? And we already did a podcast about that. But what do you think are some like common processes that most contractors would probably need to review anyway?
So
I would think like presentation to customer would
Yeah.
probably be
Yeah, is that a big
number
one?
I think they could probably use some help with their sales process. a lot
Clean it
more
up.
likely. But even just their quoting process, how do you quote a job? I know it's one of those common things in the Facebook groups and everything is like, how much do you charge for this? Not nobody. A lot of people don't have a system for quoting things.
Right.
It's just like, well, I think it's going to take me this many days. So then
Yeah.
it's that much then.
Math it out. You know,
Or they
math
charge
does
by-
work.
Yeah. So maybe you
it's
can.
hard. Math's
It is hard. That's why you get someone else to do your books.
That's right. or yeah, your sales process, your entire process of how you deal with the customer.
Yep.
Or your process on a job site too, like how you lay out your tools, your job site, your workstation, how you plan for inclement weather, how you like.
I think people are like typically good about that, but I do think that the interaction with a customer is probably, you asked me where I think that's the biggest fall down. I think that's it.
Interaction with customers.
And whether that's delivering a quote on time or when you said you were going to, or what you looked like when you showed up at the house to bid the job, or
Yeah.
when they told you they wanted to change it, how did you react?
I mean, contractors
Well,
generally have we get a bad rap. A lot of contractors get a bad rap because there's a lot of bad contractors out there.
Yep.
And that usually comes with the interaction portion and the quality of work as well. But certainly like when if you were to go to 10 people and be like, draw me a contractor, they're probably drawing you like a dude who's kind of grubby and dirty and whatever.
Ripping darts.
Ripping darts.
That's kind of the
Big
image
gulps.
that unfortunately the industry is, or the people within the industry have kind of made for ourselves because we don't care what we look like when we show up to sell a job.
And I think it's starting to change. I think that there's a lot of guys that are actually, and girls that are actually changing that imagery.
Absolutely.
Working hard at it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But it's just that there's enough of them out there that don't, that's the image people have.
Still the image.
Stigma
And then it's
is
like,
there.
oh, they're late all the time. They don't show up for appointments. They don't answer their phone. They don't get back to me. They try to they give me a high quote hoping I'll just fall. Like there's just a lot of like negativity around that. But coming up with some sort of consistent sales process that you lay out ahead of time when you're not just trying to like rush to the next thing and holding yourself to it can help to probably combat some of those things.
Certainly.
Like if a contractor shows up and he's well dressed and clean and everything, that's like the customer's going to notice that right away. Be like, whoa, holy smokes.
Yeah,
And,
sure.
and the other
This
two
guy's
odds
probably
are
charging too much. Look at how clean he is.
the other two that are showing up for quotes too probably didn't. So right away, the first impression, you get the first impression rose
Right.
right out the gate.
Right. Bachelorette.
Right.
Bachelor, whatever.
Good reference.
Yeah,
Did
thank
we
you.
get in trouble for that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They're not listening.
I think we get like 25-second spots and we're still okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fourth thing. Do you have capacity to add a new service?
So this is like re-examining your business.
Sharpening saw blades.
Sharpen. Yeah. Do you have capacity to sharpen your own saw blades?
Or hockey skates because you're not that busy in the winter?
Oh, yeah.
Could you do both at the same time? Does
Nope.
the same sharpener do both?
Different.
With your bench grinder that you're sharpening your chisels with already anyway.
Chisels. Yeah, okay. Or do you need to drop one?
Oh.
So in the process of reviewing your year, is it obvious that you have a service that you are not excelling at? That was some foreshadowing when I was talking about doing your books. Everybody's trying to do their own books. Maybe you shouldn't be. Maybe this is a service that you should drop.
Right.
Because you're actually providing that service to your own company.
Yeah.
Like you as a person, you're an employee of the company. You're providing that service to your corporation.
Yeah.
And you suck at it. You would fire you.
I
would fire you.
Fire me.
Right?
Yep.
And so fire yourself.
Yeah.
Hire a bookkeeper and then do something that you enjoy doing. Do you like doing the 3D designs? Okay, well then do more of those. You'll probably sell more decks. You'll likely make more money. If you're doing something that you actually want to do and you like to do,
Right.
you'll be more productive at that and more successful. So your corporation will be better as soon as you fire yourself from doing the books.
That's tough.
It's not tough.
I think it's tough for a lot of people. They think they can do everything.
This is true. Could be tough.
I think
Are
the
you
only
talk-
part that's tough is that people don't think they can afford it.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, I think that goes into it.
But there's the other
So
angle
find
that
a cheap guy that like does tax evasion, use him first.
Right.
Get yourself going.
The most expensive thing is cheaping out.
Like
hashtag truth. The other part of that I thought you were going down more of was like, do you offer services? What? Am I not supposed to go there?
Don't
Or-
cheat.
I wasn't sure how good your eyesight was. So
like
ahead.
worse and worse by the day. So, but like, are you doing or offering services and saying yes to jobs that you don't enjoy doing? They're not your wheelhouse.
Right.
exactly.
Were you going there?
No, I wasn't really, but that's like the whole idea. That's the whole premise behind this.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
like,
Do you find yourself like being like, I don't like, you take a job and then when it's time to go do it, you're like,
I did write that. It was like, you have the ability to build pergolas, but you're scared of heights. Don't procrastinate. Don't offer that job. Don't be like, don't offer the pergolas.
Yeah.
If you're scared of heights, it's okay. Just build the whole deck. And if you don't get that job, then you don't have this like thing hanging over you the whole time, being like, you're framing the deck, being like, pergola, I got to do the pergola. Like, you're grumpy the whole time while you're doing it, right? So
that's especially true for the guys who are doing general renovations and they're saying yes to they're basically glorified handymen.
Yeah.
Or handywomen.
I'm going to drywall this.
Well, could you do my basement? Yeah, I could. And you know you don't want to do it, but you're scared to not take any work that comes your way because you're scared of downtime or something. And that's what keeps people from specializing and being happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that energy.
Start saying no to that stuff.
That's right. And then when you show up on site, you're happy to do the job. You want to be there. You do better work. Your positive energy flows through to your crew and to the people that are there. Like,
there's some kumbaya shit
so
there.
Easy. I don't know.
That is some kumbaya shit there. That needs to be a button on your mixer there too.
Yeah.
That's some kumbaya shit.
And then so finally, the last thing I had was take a break. And I think that that's really important. But I think you should take the break when you're done working. And so books are part of your work.
Oh, yeah.
Reviewing the process for your year is part of your work. It's like, so you finish, let's say you build your last deck in November. It's like, well, then you shouldn't go on a hot holiday on December 1st. You should spend December doing the stuff you don't want to do while you're still working.
Keep with it.
Work.
Yep.
Maintain the momentum.
Then take all of January off.
And February and March.
Right? Get back there in March 15th-ish. But anyways,
So what if you why? What's the science behind that recommendation of not taking a break at the end and doing your books later? Because I'll tell you, I'll put my books off as long as I can.
Right.
It's better for my mental health.
That's why. Right? It's actually
stay up at night thinking about them.
I think that you would enjoy your holiday more if you were done all of that stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Because you wouldn't be on the beach being like,
can I afford this?
Can I afford this?
Yeah, but then you can't drink to forget it.
No, you might be drinking to celebrate it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
You'd be like,
yeah.
And also maybe your trip is maybe it's a more affordable trip. I'm not saying don't take a trip, but maybe it opens up an opportunity. Like you were thinking you were going to go to Hawaii, but it turns out you're broke and you still need a break. So you just went to, for us locally, you went to Watrous, and you went to the spring or spa there, and you were like, well, I would not have normally gone there. So you unlock a new experience.
Wow.
Right? Which you never would have done.
Gamified this podcast. Unlocked a new experience.
Right?
Wade's been playing too much Xbox.
That's not true.
Right?
I was listening to some podcast the other day, actually.
Just earned my badge. What are you talking about? Yeah, okay.
Bing. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I think. And then during your time, during your holiday, you're actually less stressed.
You're actually relaxing.
Yeah, you're actually relaxing.
Yeah.
So let's see if I thought
Did you
that
do
earlier.
any of these?
Yeah. Me?
Yeah.
No, I have an amazing ability to compartmentalize stuff. So I would go on holidays and be like, I don't give two shits. What's going on back there? It was like I was just on holiday.
Yeah. Drop your box of receipts off and peace out.
Peace. Good
If you
luck.
have questions, make up the answer yourself.
Yeah, because I'm going to be, right?
Yeah.
Because if you phone me, I'll fire you.
So what do you suggest for guys that don't have an off season? When are they doing all this stuff?
Right here it says do it on a rainy day.
What if it doesn't rain? What if you live in the desert?
So
That's a good point.
if you've taken the weekend to just recharge or allow yourself a day of rest on that rain day rather than trying to push through. So I guess what I was referring to on that part was maybe the day of rest doesn't have to be like a vacation. It doesn't have to be, you leaving, but what it could be is taking a day here and there to make sure that you rest up. And so for people who don't have an off season, maybe it's really important to schedule it around a long weekend, like maybe your Canada Day long weekend or your Boxing Day.
How do you feel about this? This is a different topic, but relates this a little bit because it gives you more time off. The 4-day, 10-hour work days.
4-day.
To give that extra time off that maybe you as the owner of the business could use that 5th day to do all this stuff maybe.
Yeah, I think that
It doesn't sound like a 4-day work week then.
but it's
No,
different.
but for your people, but your business is operating for 4
Right,
days,
yeah.
so you have the Friday to kind of do up your odds and ends and
Yeah.
whatever, right?
I don't know.
I think that sounds so good.
it sounds great.
4,
So
8, 10
Why
hour.
don't you think it sounds good?
I think that if you were building for people, traditionally people work a 5-day work week. And if you don't work on Friday or you don't work on Monday, I think the optics of that leave your business open to being kind
But
of.
if you're open with communication from the get-go, be like, our business operates 4 days a week, 10-hour days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people will be like, oh, okay, sounds good.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's only in the beginning that you have to worry about it too.
I think we should move to 7-day, 5.5-hour days.
Nope.
Oh man, I don't think
pass.
I'd get anything done.
Hard pass.
See, that's how you know that doing 4
Tens?
days at 10s is better, because if you suggest going the other way, people are like, hell no.
Hell no.
Don't take another day away from me.
Yeah.
So we value those days off a lot.
Yep.
So to have one more of them, like I would, given the choice, like if I was still in my past life working at Saskatchewan,
Yeah.
I would
4 10-hour
I would
days,
take
no problem.
I would take less pay per hour to do that. To be like 4 days, give me 3 days off every week. That'd be so good.
So I know that when I was a kid growing up, my dad had a job with the school division, and he worked 4 10s.
yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Because then he side gigged on the weekends.
Sure.
He worked 7 days a week,
Yeah.
but
Right.
3 of them were for himself.
Gives you that option if you want to.
Yep.
But it also gives people that Friday or that Monday to do their things that are kind of weekday things.
Yep.
Doing their bank stuff or whatever you might have to do on a weekend, do appointments.
I think, you know what
can't do in the
contractors could
weekend.
do? If they worked 4 10s, on like the other 3 days, they could be like firefighters or police officers,
Wow.
right? They could just like run around and put fires out.
Yeah. I agree.
Good job.
I like your shtick.
Well, they don't have, it certainly works the other way.
Be a school teacher for July and August.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. Anyways, that was it.
Mountain View Joel says, Shaner, if you had 3 days a week off from Saskatchewan to build, if you had, yeah. Well, that's what I was doing with 2 days, so I would have appreciated the third day
Third day, you could have got more shit
to
done.
get stuff done. Or actually had a day off. Take the Sunday off. Well, that's good, Wade. And that blog article is up on tuds.ca. So if somebody wanted to reference that,
Check it out.
Get
Yeah,
their
let me
shit
know
right.
if I was even close.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can comment on that blog there, so
Oh yeah, you can.
you could
You light them up.
let him
That's
know
what you
what
should
you
do.
really think.
Yeah.
These blogs aren't for like informational purpose. They're just to like
They're just for fun.
light everybody up.
Yeah.
Bryce had nothing else to do, so he created these, and then now we're busy.
Intentional tension
Yeah, exactly.
on the website.
I don't read the comments, much like Twitter.
Can't hurt you.
You just don't read Twitter.
That's right. Took it off my phone.
It's good for you. All right, Bryce, let's get this thing out of here. I'm bored.
Okay.
That's it.
You guys, well, I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. You said you
feeling
wanted
like-
to bring more energy to this thing.
Well, have at her. Let's go.
I did. I did all the talking this whole thing.
We're trying to make this thing succinct.
Oh, peace.
Peace.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Now you know what we're about. Check the site, come and shop. UltimateDeckShop.com. Hit us right away for sponsorships, or tell us if you want to collaborate. Let's go. Check us out on any social networks. Thank you for listening.